Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so we are deep into the 2025 NBA playoffs, conference semifinal stage, and wow, things have been pretty intense.
Intense is one word for it. Volatile might be another.
Right. Forget those preseason predictions. We've seen some massive shifts, some real surprises nobody really saw coming.
Exactly.
And you're here listening because you want the straight, because you want to get a quick handle on, well, where this whole season is likely heading now. So our mission today is pretty clear. Dig into what's happening, look at the analysis from places like Diario AS, CBS Sports, Oddshark, Vegas Insider, The Post, even Posting and Toasting.
Good range of sources there.
And figure out, based on all that, who's got the best shot. Who's the most likely team to actually win the whole thing this year?
It's a fascinating puzzle right now. The way teams are winning, or sometimes losing, tells us a lot. It's not just the results, but the how.
Definitely. Okay, let's jump into the East first. The Indiana Pacers, I mean, they've been just rolling.
Yeah, that sweep against Miami was impressive, 4-0.
Total dominance. And now they're up against the Cavaliers. We don't have the very latest score on that series right now, but just getting past the Heat like that says something.
It really does. Shows they're playing with confidence and executing well.
But the big story, maybe the biggest shocker in the East, has got to be the Knicks and Celtics. Knicks are up 2-0.
And how they got up 2 a day.
Yeah.
2 huge comebacks. Erasing 20-point deficits in back-to-back playoff games, that's rare.
It's almost unheard of at this level, isn't it? And now they're going back to Madison Square Garden with all that momentum. That's huge.
It really is. You look at the history, teams down 0-2 in the conference semis, well, the odds are stacked against them. Something like, what, under 7% actually come back to win the series since the 50s?
Wow.
So for the Knicks to not just win, but win like that, erasing those leads against a team like Boston, it shows incredible mental toughness. Real belief in that locker room.
Okay, let's swing over to the West then. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they took a punch from the Nuggets in Game 1.
They did drop the opener.
But they came right back, didn't they? Big win to level things up, or maybe even take the lead, depending on the latest report. They definitely answered.
Showed some resilience, absolutely. Didn't let that first loss rattle them.
Meanwhile, the Minnesota Timberwolves are just kind of waiting, right?
Yeah.
Waiting to see who comes out of that Golden State versus Houston series.
Yep, they're watching closely.
But the massive news there, obviously, is Steph Curry. Hamstring strain, out for at least 3 games. That just changes everything out west.
Oh, completely. You can't overstate the impact of losing a player like Curry, even for a few games at this stage. It's seismic, like you said.
Yeah.
It suddenly makes Minnesota look like a much stronger bet to advance, and it forces everyone to rethink those potential Western Conference Finals matchups. It really highlights how, fragile things can be. One injury can shift the whole landscape.
Speaking of dominant, though, let's circle back to OKC for a second. Their regular season, 68 wins and 14 losses. That's an 83% winning percentage, basically. Incredible.
League best. Yeah, that's a serious marker they put down all season long.
And it's not like they've slowed down much in the playoffs. I think the stat was 15-2 in their last 17 games overall. That kind of consistency has to mean something, doesn't it?
It means a lot. It suggests a really strong foundation, a system that works, not just relying on hot streaks, maintaining that through the regular season and into the playoffs. That's championship DNA, potentially.
Especially when you compare it to, say, the Celtics or the Nuggets, also great regular season teams, but now facing some real adversity.
Exactly. And you mentioned the Pacers earlier, their balance on both ends of the floor. That seems to be their formula, and it's clearly working for them so far.
Right. So these key storylines: Curry's injury, Boston's Osu hole. Let's drill down on the impact for predicting the winner. The Curry injury feels like it almost takes the Warriors out of serious contention, at least in the short term.
It heavily favors Minnesota in that series, no doubt. It makes their path significantly easier.
And Austin. Down 0-2. Those historical odds you mentioned are just brutal. Less than 7% comeback rate. Yikes.
It's a statistical mountain, absolutely. And it's not just the stats, it's the psychological side, too. Losing 2 big leads like that, it raises questions about their focus, their execution under pressure.
Even think about the Lakers getting bounced in the first round. Apparently, the betting markets reacted pretty strongly. A betting backlash.
Yeah, that's an interesting side note. Their odds had apparently shortened quite a bit, from like 40-1 way down to 10-1, based on maybe reputation or late season buzz.
And then they lose in round 1.
Exactly. It shows how volatile things are, how public perception and betting markets can sometimes get ahead of the actual on-court reality, especially in the playoffs, where matchups are everything. That 0-2 deficit for Boston, though, That's the real headline right now in the East. It
Yeah.
has a very long shadow.
So, okay, let's talk odds. The championship futures market. It seems like the odds makers have definitely taken notice of all this. Oklahoma City Thunder, they're the clear favorites now.
Pretty much across the board. Oddshark has them, what, plus 170? FanDuel even shorter at negative 175. That's a strong consensus favorite status.
Wow, minus money. And the Celtics, the defending champs, their odds have drifted out.
Yeah, lengthened to around plus 210. That reflects the hole they're in against the Knicks. It's a significant adjustment.
Then you've got Cleveland at plus 480, maybe benefiting a bit from how the bracket looks if they get past Indiana.
Possibly, yeah. Their path depends heavily on what happens with the Pacers and Knicks Celtics.
And then the Wolves at plus 1100, Nuggets plus 1500. Definitely longer shots now, needing things to break their way.
Those odds basically give you a snapshot of the perceived probabilities right now. And, they'll change with every game, every injury report. But OKC being consistently at the top, that suggests a strong belief from the analysts setting those lines.
Okay, so let's break down why OKC is the favorite. What makes them, the team to beat right now in the eyes of so many?
Well, the analysis keeps coming back to how complete they seem. You've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander running an elite offense. You've got Chet Holmgren anchoring a really strong defense.
Right, the two pillars.
Exactly. But it's also the depth behind them. They aren't just a two-man show. And we saw their resilience, right? Lost game 1 to Denver, didn't panic, adjusted, came back strong. That adaptability is crucial. It's a hallmark of teams built for the long haul.
Okay, flip side. Boston. They've got the experience, the championship pedigree. But that 0-2 hole, what's the path back for them? What has to change?
Well, first and foremost, they just have to shoot the ball better.
Yeah.
I saw a stat, something like 25% from three-point range in those first 2 games.
Ouch. For them, that's bad.
It's disastrous for a team built around spacing and shooting. When your main weapon isn't firing, it puts enormous pressure everywhere else. They desperately need to find their rhythm offensively, and they probably need some serious adjustments defensively to slow down the Knicks' attack, especially on the perimeter. The stats say it's unlikely, so they need like a fundamental shift.
What about the Pacers? They've been maybe the biggest surprise, playing so well. Is this sustainable? Can they keep this level up through potentially tougher rounds?
Indiana's success is really built on that balance you mentioned. Halliburton's playmaking, Turner's defense at the rim. They have good depth, good continuity as a group. That helps. The question is, can they handle the increased intensity and physicality of, say, a potential Eastern Conference Finals against a team like the Knicks? That would be a huge test for a roster that maybe doesn't have quite the same deep playoff experience as some others.
And finally, the Knicks themselves. Those comebacks, the energy seems incredible. Can they keep riding that wave?
They're definitely playing with huge mental toughness right now. And playing at the Garden, that energy is real. It fuels them. Jalen Brunson has been phenomenal just taking over games.
He really has.
And Tom Thibodeau's defensive coaching is obviously clicking. The challenge, though, is maintaining that high level of energy and, frankly, physicality. Game after game, series after series. It's draining. They need to avoid burnout and keep executing.
Okay, so we've covered the landscape, the odds, the key teams. Let's bring it all together. Considering everything, the regular season dominance, the playoff performance so far, the injuries, the betting markets, what's your final take? Who's the most likely team hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy this year?
Look, based on the whole picture, the statistical foundation from the regular season, their current form, how they match up, their position as favorites in the market, I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are the most probable 2025 NBA champions.
Right. Their consistency, their ability to respond to that Denver loss, the favorable odds, it all points their way.
Yeah, they just seem to have the fewest question marks right now compared to the other top contenders. They look the most complete and are shown they can win under pressure.
So the bottom line from our deep dive today, analyzing everything, the Oklahoma City Thunder emerge as the odds-on favorites. That's who the data, the performance, and the markets are pointing to right now.
Precisely. Now, obviously, the stories around the Pacers run, the Knicks' toughness, the chance the Celtics could still figure it out, those make the playoffs exciting, right?
For sure.
But yeah, weighing all the factors, OKC currently sits in the driver's seat as the team most likely to win it all.
But, and this is the beauty of the playoffs, isn't it? This postseason has already thrown curveballs. So here's a final thought for you listening.
Yeah.
Even with all this analysis pointing towards OKC, what unexpected twist could still happen? What underdog run? What unforeseen injury? What tactical masterclass could completely flip the script and give us a champion nobody sees coming right now? Keep watching with that possibility in mind. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.